In the underground chambers beneath Hermopolis, one of ancient Egypt's greatest centers of wisdom, Thoth inscribed something so profound and transformative that subsequent generations chose to conceal it, not from fear, but from absolute responsibility. What he left wasn't merely philosophy, it was a secret formula capable of rewriting reality itself. Ancient initiates called this the 33rd degree, not by accident. It was the threshold where the ordinary humans ceased to exist, and the conscious co-creator of their own destiny was born. In this revelation, you'll discover how this formula transforms not just your perception of the world, but the very fabric of reality surrounding you. It's encoded not only in hieroglyphs, but in the energies governing the universe itself. But I warn you, once you comprehend this, your life will never be the same. You'll be forced to re-evaluate everything you think is possible for yourself and the world. Before anything else, you need to know a truth Thoth taught the initiates. The reality you perceive isn't the reality that exists. It's merely the reality your internal vibration allows you to perceive, like a radio that only captures the frequency to which it's tuned. Imagine the universe as a grand symphony. Everything, every being, every moment is a note. Your body and mind are like a musical instrument, but you don't need to be a conductor to play all the notes. Sometimes you simply need to adjust the frequency of your own vibration to begin perceiving the deeper, invisible melodies around you. The notes that were always there, but your senses were never trained to detect. The ancient Egyptians understood this profoundly. Thoth knew that every human being was capable of expanding their perceptual capacity, of beginning to play notes that previously seemed impossible, of accessing frequencies that would transform their world from the inside out. But there was a problem. Not everyone was ready for this, and those who received this power without preparation simply became lost in it. This is why Thoth created the degrees, not as a hierarchy of superiority, but as a developmental map. Each degree was a step preparing consciousness for the next, until reaching the 33rd, where finally the veil fell completely. The first 32 degrees taught discipline, observation, the cultivation of mental clarity, the purification of emotion, alignment with greater purposes. They were training exercises for the spirit to withstand what would come after. Because at the 33rd degree, something extraordinary happened. The initiate finally understood a truth that changed everything. They weren't prisoners of reality. They were its authors. Thoth taught that reality creation functioned through three elements that needed to exist in perfect harmony. The Egyptians called them the three threads of the tapestry. And here's the crucial truth most people ignore. Each of these threads doesn't act in isolation. They interweave in intricate and codependent ways. Thought generates the energy. Emotion ignites that energy. Intention directs this force to the correct destination. When all three are in attunement, manifestation power becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Thought is the first thread. Thoth said each thought was like an energy current radiating from the heart. Yes, from the heart, not just the brain, because the heart was considered the seat of true intelligence, the center where consciousness and intention were born. The masters taught that thoughts weren't merely mental phenomena. They were vibrations expanding into the invisible field around you. And the universe, always responsive, began reorganizing circumstances to correspond with these thoughts. If you constantly thought about scarcity, the universe showed you evidence of scarcity, not as punishment, but because you'd sent a clear command, and the universe, like a faithful servant, obeyed. Emotion is the second thread. Thoth taught that emotion was the fire giving life to thought. A thought without emotion was like a seed in a closed box. It could potentially germinate, but remained dormant. Emotion was what awakened the seed, what gave it manifestation power. This is why the masters said feeling was more powerful than thinking. You could think about abundance all day, but if you felt fear deeply, it was the fear that manifested, because emotional vibration was denser, more real than mental vibration. Intention is the third thread, and this was the most refined. Intention wasn't willpower, wasn't desire. It was a silent command from the soul, a crystalline direction unifying thought and emotion into a single beam of purpose. The Egyptians represented this with the eye of Horus. It wasn't just a religious symbol. It was a visual representation of how focused intention created reality. The eye that sees, that chooses, that commands. When these three threads met in perfect harmony, something extraordinary happened. Not magic in the sense of breaking universal laws, but magic in the sense of making the impossible seem natural. But there was something even deeper Thoth left inscribed, something that separated those who truly mastered the 33rd degree from those who merely played with the formula. It was what initiates called aligned action. Because here's the uncomfortable truth most people completely ignore. Aligned action isn't simply acting without direction. It's taking concrete steps that confirm the truth you already carry. If you desire health, it's not enough to merely visualize health. You must make the choice of a healthy meal. Walk every day. Care for yourself. Action is the link uniting intention and result. It's the visible testimony that you truly believe in what you're creating. And the universe, observing this coherence between what you vibrate and what you do, exponentially accelerated manifestation. Thoth knew that before anyone could master the 33rd degree, they needed to be in harmony with the 7 guardians. Each one guarded a fundamental principle. But today, we want to focus on one that's especially crucial, the guardian of clarity. Because without clarity, the mind becomes nebulous and reality becomes distorted. Clarity is the first pillar. Without it, you don't truly know what you're creating. And when intention is vague, the universe also responds vaguely. But with crystalline clarity, the universe has no choice but to obey with precision. Thoth recorded a parable illustrating all of this, the story of the Weaver of Destinies. There was a man who learned the 3 threads and the 4 elements of the formula. He began practicing. He thought about abundance, felt joy as if he already possessed it, acted according to this desired reality, and trusted that the universe would respond. In the beginning, nothing seemed to happen. Weeks passed. Months. He was about to give up when he noticed something. Not grand transformations, but small, almost imperceptible ones. A person appeared in his life with a casual opportunity. A conversation led to an unexpected place. A small decision opened a path he hadn't seen before. Nothing was dramatic. Nothing was supernatural. Just coincidences that didn't seem like coincidences. Encounters that seemed random, but aligned perfectly with his new desires. Although the transformation was slow and imperceptible at first, the Weaver didn't give up. Each small encounter, each coincidence seemed too simple to be considered a great change. But when he looked back, after a year of consistent practice, he realized his reality had completely reconfigured itself, not through one grand act, but through small, continuous, and consistent adjustments. His internal vibration had created a new field around him, and the universe, as always, had simply responded faithfully to this new field. This was the truth Thoth inscribed, that the 33rd degree wasn't about miracles. It was about understanding the invisible laws governing creation and learning to utilize them with mastery. But Thoth also left an important warning, inscribed in special hieroglyphs in the secret chambers, a warning that only 33rd degree initiates could completely decode. The warning said this: he who bends reality without prior purification ends up bent by reality. Power doesn't distinguish between conscious and unconscious creation. If you learn to vibrate with total intensity, the universe obeys, without questioning, without judgment. Absolutely. Therefore, he who vibrated with profound hatred received multiplied hatred. He who vibrated with envy received situations of dispossession. He who vibrated with fear received circumstances confirming the worst. But also, and this was the promise, he who vibrated with genuine love received exponential love. He who vibrated with abundance received infinite opportunities. He who vibrated with service received recognition and constant flow. The formula was exact, perfect, and absolutely impartial. Now you might be wondering, if this is so powerful, why isn't it taught widely? Why did the masters guard this knowledge? Why did Thoth hide it in underground chambers? The answer lies in a truth that may sound uncomfortable, because humanity, for the most part, still isn't ready. And when power is given to those unprepared, destruction is inevitable. A man who learns to bend reality while carrying hatred in his eyes will create suffering. A woman who masters the formula while feeding greed will destroy herself. A nation that accesses this knowledge without wisdom will become a weapon of self-annihilation. This is why the degrees exist, not as privilege, but as protection. The first 32 degrees cultivated the soil of your consciousness, prepared you for the 33rd, and only he who had done this deep internal work could reach the summit without being destroyed by it. Thoth knew this. The Egyptian masters knew, and therefore protected the knowledge, not from selfishness, but from responsibility toward humanity. But now this knowledge is resurfacing, in unexpected ways, in fragments, in signs, in synchronicities leading seekers like you to places like this. And there's a reason for this. Humanity stands at a crossroads, and those who understood the 33rd degree have a responsibility to reveal truth to those who are ready, to those who feel in their hearts that there's more, to those who can no longer live as if reality were immutable. You arrived here not by chance. You felt something from the beginning, a vibration, a calling, a silent certainty that what you're hearing is truth, because somewhere within you there's a part that always knew this, that always understood reality was malleable, that you were capable of more, much more. This part is your connection with Thoth, with the masters who came before, with the lineage of consciousness that never died. It merely awaited the right moment to re-emerge. Now comes the practical protocol Thoth left inscribed, the real application of the 3 threads and aligned action. Because knowledge without application is merely aesthetic, true transformation demands action. The first thread, disciplined thought. Each morning, dedicate 5 minutes simply to observing your thoughts without judging them. See how they flow, see patterns that repeat. Guilt, fear, shame, or hope, gratitude, joy. What do you think most? Because what you consistently think is the command you're sending to the universe. After observing, consciously choose a thought you wish to cultivate. Don't force it. Simply choose. I am capable. I am abundant. I am worthy. Whatever resonates in your heart. Repeat this thought 21 times during the day, not mechanically but with presence. The masters knew that 21 days of consistent practice reconfigured deep neural patterns. The second thread, authentic emotion. Here's the secret that changes everything. You cannot force positive emotion when carrying negative emotion. That's pretense, and the universe feels pretense. What you do is acknowledge the emotion existing now, without judging it. I'm afraid, that's okay. I feel anger, that's okay. And then, small gestures cultivating the desired emotion. If you want to feel joy, create small moments of joy. If you want to feel confidence, make small decisions confirming confidence. Authentic emotion emerges when your life is aligned with your values, not when you force feelings that don't exist. The third thread, clear intention. Write in a single sentence what your intention truly is, not multiple mixed desires. One clear intention. My body is vibrant and healthy. I am a creator of abundance. I am an instrument of peace. Whatever is true for you. And place this intention somewhere you see it every day. Because intention without repetition remains dormant, but repeated intention becomes vibrational, becomes part of your energy. Aligned action, the practical testimony. Here's where most people fail. Because it's easy to think beautifully, it's easy to feel beautifully, but it's difficult to act consistently in aligned ways. If your intention is health, care for the body. If it's abundance, organize your finances, even in small steps. If it's deep relationships, dedicate genuine time to people. Action is what tells the universe you truly believe. But there's something more separating those who truly master the 33rd degree from those who merely play. It's what Thoth called the law of total reflection. Everything in the universe is a mirror, but not an ordinary mirror that merely reflects. It's a mirror that amplifies, multiplies, accelerates. What you vibrate returns potentiated. If you emit anger, you receive multiplied anger. If you emit love, you receive love on a larger scale. Therefore, at the 33rd degree, responsibility is total. You cannot hide your shadows. They become visible, tangible, impossible to ignore, because the universe at this level mirrors every detail, every incoherence, every shadow you deny. This is why the masters warned, don't use this formula while carrying hatred in your eyes. Don't use it while feeding greed. Don't use it while parts of you remain trapped in fear, because the reflection will be so powerful you'll be consumed by your own shadows. But if you use this while cultivating genuine clarity, purpose, and love, then the reflection becomes your greatest ally, because the universe will amplify your goodness, your courage, your highest vibration, and your life will transform in dimensions you never imagined. The traditions left many stories of masters who completely mastered the 33rd degree, not because they were special or chosen beings, but because they did the work, day after day, consistently, without expecting miracles, simply applying the formula, and observing reality respond. One of these stories speaks of a man who was a carpenter. Nothing extraordinary, but one day he encountered Thoth's teachings and began applying the 3 threads in his simple life. His thoughts changed from "I'll never succeed" to "I'm building something meaningful." His emotions changed from frustration to satisfaction. His intention clarified, "My work heals and brings joy to the world." And his action changed. He began working with purpose. Each piece of furniture was made with care, with love, not just to earn money, but to create something beautiful. Over time, people specifically sought his work. Clients returned, recommendations arrived, his life transformed. Not through magic, but because his vibration had changed, and the universe simply responded. There's still more the masters guarded. There was truth about time, because Thoth knew something about how reality manifests that most ignore. Manifestation isn't linear. It's not "I asked today, I received tomorrow." It's more like a garden. You plant the seed. It germinates invisibly beneath the earth for weeks, and then suddenly a sprout emerges, and after months, a flower. The universe works in cycles, in rhythms, and sometimes the manifestation you vibrated months ago materializes today, because the universe was reorganizing everything behind the scenes. You just didn't see it. This is why faith was so crucial, because without faith you dug up the seed every day to see if it was growing, killed it before it could flourish. But with faith, you rest, trusting that reality already bent even before seeing the signs. When you begin applying the 3 threads correctly, certain things start changing. First, you notice synchronicities. People appear, doors open, information arrives without you having asked. Second, your emotions begin stabilizing. Fear yields to confidence. Third, coincidences multiply. What was rare becomes frequent. And fourth, internal resistance diminishes. You no longer need to fight against yourself. These signs confirm your vibration has changed, and that the universe is already responding. But there's also a warning. When you begin bending reality, everyone around you feels it. Some want to align with your new vibration. Others feel threatened. The masters taught this was natural, because you're literally changing the energetic field around you. And not everyone is ready for this change. This is why Thoth emphasized humility. Don't speak about this widely. Live it silently. Let your life be the testimony. Because true power never needs to announce itself. Now you have the formula, the 3 threads, aligned action, the signs, the practical protocol. Everything Thoth left inscribed in Hermopolis. Everything preserved through millennia. Everything is in your hands now. And the question the masters always left echoing is the same they leave for you now. What will you do with this? Will you keep it as merely intellectual knowledge, or will you apply it? Will you live it? Will you transform? Because here's the final truth Thoth taught. Knowledge without application is merely death. Death of the potential you carry. But knowledge with application is the awakening of your true power. It's the birth of the co-creator you always were. If you arrived here, know this wasn't chance. The universe placed this content in your path because it knew you were ready. Perhaps you were being called. Perhaps you felt a different vibration. Perhaps you recognized the truth recorded here as something you always knew deep down. Now it's up to you. Start small. You don't need perfection. Just begin. Choose one of the 3 threads and work with it for 21 days. Observe what changes. Because as soon as you perceive the first change, the first synchronicity, the first sign that this truly works, you'll never be the same again. And the question will cease being, does it work? And become, what's the next step? Because you'll have proven to yourself that Thoth was right. That reality is malleable, that you're more powerful than you believed, and that the 33rd degree isn't an illusion. It's a reality that was always waiting for you to awaken. If this knowledge resonated with you, share it with those who are also ready. Subscribe to our channel for more revelations being brought to light in this moment, because Thoth's lineage continues alive, and you're now part of it. Now, leave your comment with a single phrase: I am conscious co-creator. Because when you declare this aloud, the universe listens, and your own mind receives the command. Those who leave this affirmation in the comments enter a community of the awakened, a modern lineage of Thoth, where each becomes both teacher and student simultaneously. Are you ready to declare?